say the earth holds memory, that if you walk far enough, quiet enough, you can feel it beneath your feet, the weight of everything that ever happened in a place pressing up from the soil. Some lands feel warm with it, soft with the echoes of laughter and work and simple lives lived well. Others feel hollow, like the ground remembers something it wants you to forget. And then there are places where the memory is wrong, places where the earth itself seems to whisper that you should not have come. The road that shouldn't be is one of those places. It is not marked on maps nor listed on any county survey. It appears when it wants to whom it chooses. Sometimes it lies at the end of a dirt lane. Sometimes it branches off a logging trail. Once, a hunter swore he found it winding out of a cornfield like a path of pressed stone, vanishing into the dark. However it shows itself, it never stays. The next day the road is gone, as though it had never been. The road is always the same, narrow, uneven, laid in pale stone that glows faintly, as if catching moonlight even on cloudy nights. The trees lean close on either side, black-barked and silent, their branches arched overhead like a rib cage. No sound carries there, not crickets, not wind, not the rustle of leaves, only the crunch of your footsteps, louder than they should be, like you're walking across a hollow surface. The locals know not to step on it. Old folks warn children in hushed tones to turn back if they see a road they don't recognise, no matter how short it looks. But still, people do. Curiosity has always been stronger than caution. Those who walk it never walk far. Some return, though never unchanged. Some don't return at all. The earliest stories date back to the mid-1800s. Settlers moving west spoke of a road that appeared between ridges where no road had been the week before. A family followed it with their wagon, seeking a shortcut to the next township. Days later their horses returned alone. Rain snapped, eyes wide and rolling. The family was never seen again. For years travellers swore they could hear the faint creak of wagon wheels deep in the woods, long after the story had been forgotten. Decades later, a survey crew claimed to find an unmarked road while mapping out timber rights. They walked it for less than a mile before realising the compass needles in their packs spun wildly, refusing to point north. When they turned back, the road behind them had shifted. Where once there had been stone, there was only forest floor, mossy and damp. They stumbled for hours before breaking free, emerging miles from where they thought they had entered. They resigned their commission and never worked again. The road that shouldn't be does not simply lead to another place, it leads elsewhere. Those who have come close enough to sense it say the air along the road tastes different, metallic and sharp. The shadows cast by its pale stones are longer than they should be, stretching like fingers toward the trees. The woods on either side are not silent, because they are empty, but because they are listening. Sometimes in that silence you hear things you should not hear, breathing that is not yours, the distant tread of footsteps in perfect rhythm with your own, and beneath it all, faint and steady, a low hum, like the vibration of some vast machine buried deep underground. The road has taken many, campers, hunters, wanderers, teenagers daring one another to prove their bravery. Not all vanish. A few return, staggering into town in the grey hours before dawn, but they are never the same. Their eyes do not focus, their mouths move in whispers no one can quite catch. One boy drew symbols over and over in the dirt until his hands bled, curves and lines that no one recognized. He never spoke again. The few who could describe what they saw beyond the bend of the road left words that do not sit well in the mouth. One spoke of trees that bent upward, not to the sky, but into a curve that folded back on itself. Another swore the stars overhead were too many, shifting in patterns like eyes opening and closing. A woman said she saw a second road, crossing above the first, upside down, with figures walking it head first into the ground. None of them lived long after telling their tale. It is said that if you walk far enough, the road narrows. The trees press so close their bark scrapes your shoulders, and the pale stones tilt downward, as though you are descending a spiral. Some claim the spiral never ends. Others insist it opens suddenly into a clearing, where the sky is wrong, where the horizon bends in on itself, and something vast waits in the dark. They say the road does not end so much as it is consumed, and that those who reach that point do not return, because there is no place to return from. The strangest thing of all is how the road finds its way into the lives of people who never sought it. One man claimed he dreamt of it for months, the pale stones winding endlessly, until one night he woke to find his feet on them, miles from his own bed. Another swore he was driving home when the headlights swept across a narrow lane he had never noticed before, paved in glowing stone beckoning him. His car was found days later, empty, engine cold, parked neatly at the roadside. The road calls in its way, not with words but with a quiet pull in the chest, a sense of unfinished business, of needing to see just one step further, just one bend more. It is patient. It has always been patient. There are patterns if you look closely. The road appears most often in autumn, when the air is sharp and the nights grow longer. It favours those alone, those who carry silence with them. It shows itself to the weary, the grieving, the restless, and always it offers the same promise, a way forward, a path not taken. But there are warnings too. A farmer once said he smelled smoke on the wind, though no fire burned for miles. Another claimed the stones felt warm underfoot, as though they had been soaking in sunlight that never touched them. Many speak of the shadows. They stretch the wrong way, bending toward the road instead of away from it, as though eager to be closer. If you should find it, and God help you if you do, there are rules whispered by those who live long enough to pass them on. Do not take anything with you onto the stones, for it will not return with you. Do not look over your shoulder once you step forward, for the road behind you will not be the same road you left. And above all, do not stop walking. Those who pause too long are said to hear something rise from the silence, something vast and patient, leaning close enough that its breath stirs the hair on their neck. The road that shouldn't be does not care for the living. It does not welcome them. It uses them. Some say it feeds on memory, stripping travellers of their past until they are nothing but empty shells. Others believe it collects them whole, building a procession of the lost who walk its stones forever there. Their footsteps the echo you sometimes hear when you stand too close. There are those who insist it is not a road at all, but a scar, a wound in the fabric of the world, bleeding into places we cannot comprehend. If that is true, then stepping onto it is less a journey than a surrender. You do not walk the road. The road walks you. The earth remembers. It remembers the family who vanished with their wagon, the surveyors who stumbled out wild-eyed, the hunters, the campers, the restless souls who thought they could resist the call. Their weight presses up from beneath the pale stones, layer on layer, a history of those who should not have stepped forward. And still, it waits. Perhaps tonight, if you drive long enough down roads you thought you knew, you'll see it. A narrow stretch of stone glowing faintly under the moon, leading into woods too dark for your headlights to pierce. You'll feel it before you understand it. That pull in the chest, the whisper that says just one step further, just one more, and maybe you'll listen. Maybe you'll put your foot down on the pale stone and hear the echo ring out louder than it should. Maybe the silence will close around you and the shadows will lean in. Maybe you'll walk further than you mean to until the bend swallows you whole. And if you do, you will not be the first. You will not be the last. The road that shouldn't be is patient, and it is always hungry.